Hello, Shalom Ola, and welcome to the Spiritual Life with Mystic Travis Tidwell. I'm here tonight, again, sharing a podcast on coronavirus and what we can do to keep our sanity while we're going through this quarantine and going through this stuff right now on this planet. I want to, first of all, give thanks to my executive producer. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be having this podcast, at least filmed. We'll see. Yeah, now she looks like, what? My daughter, Athena, who's also a high priestess and sacred dragon, third level Reiki master. Medium. She's a medium already. And working on her psychic skills, mastering tarot. She's also not only my executive producer with my podcast, but she also has my music copyrighted and distributed. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora. The album's called Time Has Come by Travis Tidwell. Check it out. For those of you who are on Spotify right now listening, or another channel, you can go to YouTube and punch in Travis Tidwell Podcast and actually see what's going on as we're having this podcast, which in another podcast or two I'm going to advise you to do, because I'm talking about, what we can do to empower ourselves, boost our immune systems during the coronavirus, and actually think about more how we can protect ourselves. My last episode, which was number 14, we talked about, excuse me, we talked about boosting your immune system through crystal elixirs. And that's just one of the ways that we can, again, help empower ourselves spiritually. We also talked on my last podcast about sympathetic magic, which means your intention of touching something to move energy. As we said before, it's just like when you're sick as a child and, your mother comforts you, she cares for you, she holds you or gives you a affection for love and compassion and makes you feel better. That's called sympathetic magic. So we can put our intention as we're cooking our food, as I said in my last podcast, and visualize that food being healthy, focusing on nothing but that food being healthy, or even healing at some point. In this episode tonight, we're talking about circles of protection and how we can protect ourselves more from negative energy, maybe even negative happenstance or situations that might put us in a situation to catch coronavirus. Also, too, I was just, contemplating that for those out there who might have the coronavirus quarantined at home right now, and if Tylenol's not working for you, if you can get yourself some marijuana cooking oil, some 420 oil, and cook your food with it, maybe make some soup with it, it's going to sedate you naturally. And it's very, very healing. It's more healing, I feel, than the CBD, which is also available out there for pain. They're saying people who get this flu, they don't have really a treatment for it. They were talking about that Malarian drug. But that hasn't been something that's been proven. And we know anything about marijuana, it's natural, it comes from Mother Nature, and so it's good for you, and it's helpful, it's medicinal. So obviously this podcast is pro-marijuana, just for the healing benefits. We're also talking about tonight not only the circle of protection, which we're going to be talking about, but also visualization for protection. Prayer moves energy. We know prayer moves energy, so it's important that you're praying every day, talking to your angels. I know who my assigned angel is. My clients who come to me know that. My friends, my students know who their assigned angel is. My email is travistidwellpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email on your date of birth, I will tell you who your assigned angel is. It's important. The more power you have is by the knowledge you have about yourself. The gifts that you have within you are the most powerful things you have. I'm not knocking people who go to work. If you can work at a job, waitress, cat, whatever, that's great. But if you have a talent within yourself that's going to nurture you, and you can actually help somebody in your life or share that energy, that's very, very powerful. And, so we're also going to be talking about our chakras a little bit, because before I became a Reiki master, before I even was really conscious, I was always conscious of Reiki to some degree, but I never got involved with it in the beginning of my path. My first teacher showed me how to rub my palms together, which obviously activate your palm chakras, And when your crown chakra is activated and you visualize white light energy coming down to your crown and out to your palms, and you visualize that white light energy going to whatever area of the body you want that to go to. People have always told me without me touching them, they felt my energy. And so I've always had that gift of being able to project energy. Most people don't realize they can, and they have that power. So while you're quarantined, this would be a good time to visualize these type of exercises I'm going to share with you in this podcast. One is that we always put ourselves in a pyramid of divine light. And no matter what we're doing, seriously, we're always in a pyramid of light. As we kind of close our eyes, breathe in through our nose, exhale through our mouth, because we then visualize ourselves standing in pyramids of light. We would then visualize as we breathe in this beautiful divine white light energy coming down into our body through our crown chakra. And in healing our body and protecting our body. And I use the word healing and protecting. And then we visualize when we exhale through our mouth that we're releasing all negative energy, all illness, all disease from our body when we exhale that. Then, at some point, while we're still in that pyramid of light, we visualize this beautiful white flame, like a yod, connecting, above our crown chakra, floating, connecting to our crown chakra, activating our crown chakra, our holy guardian angel, our higher self, and the divine mind within us, or as Sacred Dragon, we would say the dragon of the divine mind within us, because it was the dragon who came to Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus, who is my personal spirit guide, and awakened him. The dragon's been used in everything magical from the beginning of time on this planet and in this consciousness. So here we also want to acknowledge Sacred Dragon, because this podcast is being powered by Sacred Dragon, but it's being created by it in the most holy and supreme high energy, which is Yahweh. So be it. Also, when we look at protection, there's different ways we can do this now. Again, we were in a visualization, white flame above our head. We're in pyramids of light. We're breathing in divine light energy into our body. We're exhaling negative energy and disease out of our body. That's a great exercise. And if you're paranoid of getting that virus, or you think you have that virus, or you're just not feeling good, that exercise will empower you. Now, if you want to take that a step further and say, I am that I am, I am that I am, and you would say that over and over while you're visualizing yourself in a pyramid of light, breathing in, exhaling all that negative energy out of your body. It's very, very powerful. Now, the other thing I like to do, and I do this for clients currently I do this for people, and I even do this obviously for myself. I've been doing circles of protection since I've been involved in magic, ever since my oldest son got in trouble. He was the person who really made me feel like, how can I protect somebody that I can't control? How can I protect somebody from multiple type of happenstance or situations? And it was my oldest son, who I've always been a little bit paranoid of. He's a tough kid. And so a lot of times I'd be in fear for him, but when I became spiritually conscious, I realized that fear was not helping him or me. And so when I would start being fearful of him, getting hurt or having a problem, I would immediately visualize him in a pyramid of light. I would immediately visualize my angels, going to him and helping him and bringing him home safely. So, that I still use that technique. So I'm really not going to let the fear get the best of me of any situation. I'm a son of Yahweh. I'm here empowered by my divine source, and I live by the 10 Commandments. I have a daily routine of prayer. I have a great meditation that I do, not only with group once a month, that's an hour, guided meditation, but I meditate during the week for myself also and do visualizations. Now, if you get yourself a pie pan, and I think I have something here I can kind of show you. If you're on the podcast on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. If you're at home, I'm sorry. I grabbed a pan that I have here. It's an aluminum pan like you'd bake a pie with. Now behind me, you can see herbs. Can you see herbs behind me? Or just oils? Just oils. I have a lot of herbs that I've collected being a shaman. that obviously do different magical things. Now, this is a pie pan I have here. You can see the pan? Can you? Okay. So I have a pan here. Can you see it like that? I'm sorry. Okay, so I have a pan here. It's just a regular pie pan, 99-cent store, Vons, wherever. But inside the pan, the first thing I have is a parchment of paper. And with dragon's blood ink, I drew this person's name down. And I put a banishing pentagram over their name. I traced that in red ink. Excuse me. And then I put God's sacred symbols, his sacred name on it, because everything I do has God's name on it, Yahweh. And other symbols of protection. And then every so often I put different herbs of protection in this pan, in this circle, and different roots of protection in this circle. On the full moons, I charge this circle for my client/friend, and he pays me for it and gifts me for it. And this keeps him in a circle of protection. Now, not only does it give him peace of mind, but I really am giving him my energy. And it's just like when I would do it for my son or my family or anybody, because obviously me and my family are protected, and I do have something set up for my family myself. But in reality, when you're home stressing, and say you have a loved one that's far away, and you're worried about them, you can grab a picture of them. Now, you don't have to use the pan. You can use just a countertop or a table, anything for that matter. As you might even want to use an altar. You could set up a picture on an altar with a candle. You know how you pray for somebody? A lot of people do that. They'll put the picture on the altar or make a little shrine type situation. And that's really, really good to do. Now, you can take that a step further. Let me just get my notes here. I'm not sure if the people out there are aware of a banishing pentagram or an invoking pentagram. And these are symbols that we use in magic and our spirituality to empower ourselves with protection or to draw positive energy into our life. It can be used for either yin or yang. And at some point, I'm going to share that with you tonight. And if you can also, Sacred Dragon, I have my own group, Sacred Dragon. That's my religion. That's me. I am one sacred dragon here on planet Earth. I am from the Galactic Center. So here I'm trying to empower you people today listening to this podcast. And again, this is going to say quarantine coronavirus on these episodes because I want to share something with you that's going to help you while you're stuck at home and you're watching TV or old videos that you've seen 1,000 times, or you're finally resetting yourself, because that's what's going to happen. Once you get through the fear, you're going to reset yourself and your mind will start thinking better and you might start being more constructive. It's going to be very hard to be constructive when you're in fear and when this whole planet right now is being affected. So I give everybody this information in love and light to empower you and to help you. So back to my story. If you have a family member or somebody you care for, even immediate family in your home, but you have somebody that you care for and you're worried about them, get their picture. If you can't put it in a pan, like I said, put it on an altar somewhere. Put it in a plate. But you'll put the picture, and if you don't have a picture, write their name, date of birth. Or if you want to do this for yourself and your family, names and date of birth on paper in the center of this circle. And then at some point, because this is a circle of protection, you would write on the paper not only their name and birth, but you would write name and date of birth, but you would also write the word protection. Now, in writing the word protection and doing what I just told you to do, then you would do what we call a banishing pentagram. And for those of you who have never done a pentagram before, most people who look at pentagrams think of evil, Satan, or witchcraft. And, Wicca is a beautiful art. It's definitely goddess for sure, and we all love the goddess, because without the goddess we wouldn't have life. That's very yin and yang. That's masculine and feminine energy that we've been working with, that we have within us. It's just a shame that most people don't have that knowledge. It's ignorance. That's what that is. Actually, the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, represents us, man or woman, in a circle of protection. All circles represent the Alpha, the Omega. What is the Alpha, Omega? That's our divine source. So now what? This is more. We're more connected than what we think, and And religion's really just an outworn way of thinking in today's conscious. The Christ energy is beautiful. I love the Christ. But there's more than Christ. There's Yahweh. And Christ is an extension of Yahweh, just as Moses is. So in this house and in Sacred Dragon, we do love Jesus as the captain of the Christ. He's the messenger. He is the Lord of the Christ. But we also honor Moses, who is the lawgiver. And so never forget that, because it's all about karma. And we all want to keep good karma, promote good karma in everything we do. Now, going back to the circle of protection, so you have either the picture, or you could put picture plus the name, date of birth, put the whole family's names in there, pictures of the family, the dogs, anybody you want protected. So you get them in that circle. Now, a spiritual household, you'll have sage, hopefully, especially now, because this is a good time to burn sage. If you don't have sage, you can drive out somewhere in the middle of nowhere and pick sage. It's still there. Maybe you can Google that in your local area. Claremont Mesa has it. Del Mar has it. Different places, North and Oceanside has it. Alpine has. There's all kinds of sage out there. If you don't have sage, look in your cupboard to see what you have for cooking. A lot of people have sage in cooking. If you had to, you could use garlic salt. Okay, I mean, go to your kitchen. This is quarantine time. But if you had a good herb like frankincense, you could also crush up some frankincense rock and make that circular protection with. So you can use sage, circular protection with frankincense. Look at some of the incense you have at home. Helping hand or five-finger grass is good to work with. Solomon seal is good to work with. There's just many different herbs out there, but sage is an ideal herb. But if you don't have that, you could just use salt. Now, the key thing about making a circular protection is not only, making the circle and having your intention. Remember, with magic, everything's intention and then application, because they work hand in hand. And we know everything we see in this physical world was first a thought or an idea before it was created. So, we have the circular protection. We've written our names. We've got the picture. Now we're going to do what we call a banishing or protection pentagram. Now, when we do that, obviously we're going to rub our palms together, but we're also going to rub our fingertip chakras together, our front forward fingers and our forefingers, and activating our fingertip chakras. Now, maybe a lot of people out there haven't heard about that yet, huh? In Sacred Dragon, this is common knowledge. And once you've activated that chakra, and let's remember, too, that we're in pyramids of light. We've activated our holy guardian angel, our higher self, and the dragon of the divine mind within us. We have all that energy activated. We've written the names, date of birth. We've got the pictures, possibly also. It's there on the altar, or it's in a pan or a plate. And now we're going to take this salt, because you could use Morton salt. Use some kind of herb. Go to your kitchen and do something, But this is going to help you out. Now, if you can see this pan, there's multiple herbs and roots in there over the months and years that I've been charging this for this person. Now, when you look at, again, your circle, and you're going to do a banishing, the first thing you do is, banishing is always clockwise, and invoking, which means drawing to you or in you, is always counterclockwise. So if I'm going to draw something to me, I'm going to draw counterclockwise. If I'm going to draw something away from me for protection, I'm going to go clockwise to move it away from me. Okay? Now, I have a diagram called a banishing protection. And when you're doing a banishing, it's like tracing a star, a five-pointed star. But you start at the bottom of the left foot, I guess that would be, and you move straight up and then down like a pyramid. And then you cross over to your left going up. You cross straight over to your right, going lateral, and then you go down to your left from that point, and then that down left point, that's your stopping, and then you make the circle, which is clockwise for protection. Now, I have a diagram here, and my daughter's going to try to digitally improve that for us tonight, but this is all old school here. I'm lucky to be doing this. Can you see that? Okay. This is what we call a banishing pentagram. And you can see I have the one spot pointing up, the two spot pointing down. Can you see that? And the three spot And can you zoom in? Can you zoom in on that a little bit? I'll try to zoom in on that for you. Hold that there. And so you're going to go clockwise with your salt or with your herb, and you'll make a complete circle. And as you're doing that, you'll be focusing and you'll be saying words like, I bless the spirit of this herb, this salt, to create a circle of protection about me and my loved ones. And you'll make a complete circle. Then with your right hand and your forefinger, with that chakra activated, you'll trace the banishing pentagram, which is the star. And you'll start from the bottom and you'll work up. You're going to work up to remove. We work up to remove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then make that circle. Did that make sense? Could you see that good? Okay, I'll do it one more time. You work up. You start up to banish. I'm removing this from me. I'm removing it. Okay? And you should be doing this. You can do this now, even though it's a new moon, because this is an emergency situation. The best time to really charge this is during the full moon and waning. But these are circumstantial times right now. And in high magic, they teach us it doesn't matter what lunar cycle is what or what retrograde is what. If it is your true will, then so be it. Now, always the other key to creating this circle of protection is first sitting down, comfortable. Again, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Put yourself in that transcendental state for just a second. You're going to visualize that white flame, your holy guardian angel being activated, your higher self being activated, the divine mind being activated, and then you're going to visualize taking the steps of, writing the names, the date of birth, putting the picture down. It's either on a plate or a table, altar, or a pan. And you're going to visualize doing that first. You're going to sit down and actually visualize each step. Then you visualize writing the paper and putting the picture in, and then taking your salt or sage or whatever herb you're working with and going clockwise with the intention of protection and blessing the spirit of that herb or that salt. Everything has a spirit to it. Never forget that. We're talking spirituality and magic, and we have to be conscious of everything is alive and has a spirit to it. Now, and then once you've done that, then you trace your pentagram. I charge this circle for protection. And that's what you're going to charge this circle for protection and to remove all negative energy. And that's what you'll focus on. You could do that every night. Light a candle next to it. That's going to, if anything, help give you peace of mind. It's just like saying, all my angels come close to me now. My angels, Ariel, that includes you. Of course, for a lot of you out there, you can say, Jesus, that includes you. Moses, that includes you. Whoever you want to include. I love Jesus as the Lord of the Christ. He's our brother. He's our teacher of love and healing. Make no mistake. That's really the main purpose of him being here. He's the messenger of love and compassion, as Moses is the messenger of law and severity. If you don't know the Ten Commandments, hook them up. Moses said, live by the Ten Commandments, you won't suffer karma like other people around you. So, and we are in also a waxing moon right now, so I thought I'd bring it up that you could go ahead and start your circle of protection now. But right after you do your circle of protection, then I want you to go ahead and do a circle of abundance. Because you can also do that for yourself too right now. Because it is waxing moon, and you're going, I know everything's shut down financially, but what you put in the air is going to stay in the air. And if it doesn't help you now, it will help you when things break loose and it can move. So this is a good time to work both energies. Same thing, name, date of birth, pictures, or just the name, whatever herb you're working with now. But instead of going clockwise, because you're going to take a different herb, or you could even use the same herb. If you don't have the access of herbs, you can look in your cupboard. Like I said, salt's going to be good either way. I'm trying to think of other things you could use. Thyme might be something you could use for prosperity, abundance. Maybe even parsley. It's green. But you're going to want to go counterclockwise and charge that circle for abundance and money. Or abundance and good fortune is a good terminology to use. Or money and good fortune. However you want to phrase it, but keep it simple. Then at that point, you're going to do what we call an evoking pentagram. And you're going to start at the top this time, and you're going to draw down. Now we're drawing spirit down and the energy down to earth. So we start at the top, we draw down, make the pentagram 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go counterclockwise to draw it to us. And boom, that's how you do your circle of protection. And then also do a circle of abundance right now. As long as you've listened, and this is in the waxing of the moon, you can still do the abundance. Now, the waning of the moon, I wouldn't do an abundance. I would just keep it for protection and for healing and for removal. And those are the energies that we use at that time. I'll show you the evoking pentagram now to evoke prosperity and good fortune in your life over your circles. This is a little messy, but it is what it is. I'm also quarantined here too. Me and my great daughter here. Can you see that? And remember, this pentagram goes up. It starts at the bottom. Goes up, down, left, right, lateral, down, and then the circle, counterclockwise to invoke and evoke the energy that I want to create for myself right now. Should you focus, like zoom in or no? You did? Okay. That's my executive producer, ladies and gentlemen. She is the one. She's on top of the game here now. As I said, prayer is important. I'd like to share communion with all of you. Since we are talking about breathing and the air quality and coronavirus being passed through the air, a prayer from the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's normally my Friday communion, but you could do this communion, you could do this prayer every day. You should always before you pray, you should always create your atmosphere for prayer first and visual or meditation by, again, putting yourself in that pyramid of light, breathing into your nose, that white light energy into your crown, into your body, exhaling through your mouth, releasing all negative energy, disease, illness, pain, anything negative. Then you visualize that white flame above your head connecting to your crown chakra, activating your holy guardian angel, your higher self, and the divine mind within you. Then at that point, you'll do whatever you want to do. Then at that point for your ceremony, your thought forms. But then this would be a good time to pray, and you'll say, "Angel of air, enter my lungs and give the breath of life to my whole body." And for people who are not breathing well, this would be a good prayer to share with them. And you'd visualize this beautiful angel coming into your lungs. You're breathing. I always visualize this angel coming into my mouth or my nose and breathing the breath of life into my body, me taking it in. So, angel of air, enter my lungs and give the breath of life to my whole body. Angel of air, enter my lungs and give the breath of life to my whole body. Angel of air, enter my lungs and give the breath of life to my whole body. Angel of air, into my lungs and give the breath of life to my whole body. That's a great prayer for you right now and for everybody out there with coronavirus or who's not feeling well. And then you visualize that beautiful angel putting that air into your lungs, whether it's through your nose, your mouth, however you want to visualize that. You'll sit there for a moment and you'll just enjoy it, receive it. I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. When we say I am that I am, it connects us directly to the Godhead of Yahweh. I am the first I am, I'm the second I am, I'm the last I am. And we are the last I am, trust me. Now, my podcast, we're usually talking about the Adam and Eve consciousness. You can check that out again, some of the earlier podcasts. That'll be coming up again for us. What I would like for everybody to do now is get ready for Reiki. On our next podcast, we're talking about getting you Reiki'd so that you can start doing healings on yourself now and start doing absentee healings or what we call long-distance healings for people who might be sick with coronavirus in your life or in your family, or if you want to throw some Reiki just on the planet. Reiki is not rocket science. A lot of people think, I got to take a weekend course or 2 weeks somewhere and spend $1,000. If you want to do that, just send me a donation. But on my next podcast, I'm going to send you level 1 and 2 attunements through the podcast, through the airwaves, through the video, because it's that simple. You have Reiki in you. And if you haven't heard about Reiki between now and my next podcast, Google it. If you don't know your chakras, which is going to be very important for you to get Reiki'd on this next episode of mine, my next podcast, you're going to have to know your chakras. Your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, which you would know your third eye is the one in the middle of your head, your forehead. Your throat chakra, that's obviously in your throat. We have your heart chakra, your solar plex chakra, your navel chakra, your root chakra, which is where your root is. Whether a woman, your vagina area. If it's a man, then that's where your balls and penis is. In Sacred Dragon, in my meditation, I don't do the yogi meditation where we sit on the floor and cross our legs. I've only taken yoga a couple of times in that position. I know I'd have to take it for a long time to get used to it, but it just kills my knees. So in Sacred Dragon, we've learned, I was taught through my guide Hermes, that sitting in a chair with my back straight, my feet together, make a complete chakra. Our souls, we have these souls in our feet, which are like half circles. Together, they make a complete chakra. They ground us to earth. So I do a chair meditation in that way also. But try that prayer. I give you that communion in this podcast in Divine Love and Light, hoping that will help empower you, because this is the spiritual life, baby. We get challenged, we go to spirit, we go to magic. What do we have here from Mother we can use? What do we have from spirit and prayers? What do we have? We have it all right here. But we have to get focused. I want to thank my executive producer tonight for this podcast. This should be podcast number 15. And I'm hoping everybody out there is receiving this information in divine love, divine light, divine trust. God bless you, your family, your pets, your friends. God bless planet Earth right now. I've spoken, so be it.
And time has come to rearrange. Time has come for a change.